Hi everyone, Kathy Pettis here. We get started in 2 minutes, so get your stuff ready. You just want to require a mat. So we'll require a mat. Pretty much that's it. And yourself in a comfy position. So we'll get started and we'll start at top of the hour, which is in 2 minutes. So you can get comfy and get ready as we start our 12 noon yoga clinic. So pop on in. I won't be able to see your comments, but that's okay. I always like to get here early so that we can make sure you're set up. I have really knobby knees, so I use this all the time. It's just like a folded up yoga blankie. Like they call it like a blanket. It's a really thin blanket, but I use it for my knees. So we will be on our knees a lot. But yeah, I'd rather be early and people just skip over until we get to 2 minutes time mark, and then we'll be good to go. But I always start this a little late and then I get flustered. So I want to make sure that we start right on time. And we have less than 45 minutes now. So tell everyone, hi, hello, how are you? And we'll get started. And again, like I said, I can't see your comments, but I will definitely share them and answer them afterwards. So we'll get started in 30 seconds here. Yeah, yeah. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Hopefully you can hear me. Everything should be on. And we got 15 seconds. Make sure you have hydration. That's why it's by me. And we're in the final countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. Hi everyone, Kathy Pettis here, and it is the last day of the month. That means that we are here for our yoga clinic, okay, or yoga flow. And this is our third and final of our Sun Salutation series. So Sun Salutation C is what we'll be going through today. So I welcome you, Kathy Pettis. I am a certified yoga instructor and I am a wellness coach. And that is because I am also a fellow female activist, like most of you here. And I want us to be around both mentally and physically well for when we end fascism and reclaim what we can of democracy and make it actually a better place. So today we're working on Sun Salutation C. So we already went through Sun Salutation A previously and B last month. Now we're going to be in Sun Salutation C. So how we always start, okay, is with our positive quotient repetitions. So yes, I could go into meditation, but this is to get you to understand what positive quotient repetitions are to begin with, or PQs, PQ reps as we call them. And that way you'll be more versed when you see my regular videos on wellness. And you can learn more, okay, if you want to just go down below, say, I want to learn more about positive quotients. And they're going to make you feel groovy. So I'll make sure to connect with you. But anyway, today we're going to start with our positive quotients, and then we will move into Sun Salutation C. So you can be sitting, standing, laying down even. I only ask that you're in a safe space where you hopefully, preferably are in a quiet place where you can be within yourself, okay? So what we're going to do, okay, if you feel safe, only if you feel safe, let's go ahead and close our eyes if you can. And what I want you to do is something very simple. I want you to take 2 fingertips and I want you to start rubbing them together ever so gently, but with intention. So much so that you can feel the actual ridges of your fingertips moving against one another. Let those sensations make you curious. Can you feel maybe even the finger prints on those ridges? Now, go ahead and bring your palms together in what we call prayer. And we're going to go ahead and rub the palms together with sense and tension that you can feel once again all of those fingertip ridges against one another. You can probably feel friction building. You're creating heat. How does that feel? Go ahead and take your fingertips now against the other palm. What do you recognize about your palm? Is it ticklish in some places? Now go ahead and with whichever hand you wish, place your hand on your belly. And without changing your breath, just notice it. What's moving with each breath? And if your mind drifts, just come back to your breath. And with that, go ahead and put your hand down, blink your eyes open, and come back. That should make you feel a lot calmer. We theoretically shut off your sympathetic nervous system, okay, in such a way that yes, it's always alert, but now it's not activated, and instead came into your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the whole point of positive quotient repetitions. Yes, yoga can bring you into your parasympathetic nervous system. But if you're not feeling like moving, then guess what? PQ reps, as we call them, positive quotient repetitions, can help just as well. And I can definitely turn you into more of that as you watch my wellness videos, and if you want coaching in the mental fitness that I teach. So today, though, we're all about the sequence Sun Salutation C. So what I do always want to remind you, especially if you're new to yoga, which is hopefully most of you, um, we call one of the poses, not in the Sun Salutations, but one of the asanas or poses in yoga is called child's pose. And I want to show you child's pose. So you would be, assuming you're able, you would be seated like this. Okay, I'll go to the side here, and you're basically your bums on your feet on your heels. Okay, so you're sitting comfortably, and then you would drape down, bring your torso down. Okay, and then this is child's pose. You can put your forehead on the mat, your hands out. You can even have your hand behind you. Okay, but this is child's pose. We can also, if you so choose, have wild child's pose, and that's basically putting your toes together, but you're um, bringing your knees wide, and then you do the same thing. You bring your bum back, okay? And this is child's pose, but it's called wide-legged child's pose. And these are both what you consider a rest pose. So if ever you're getting tired, okay, because this is not going to go fast. However, it is going to be lengthy because I'm going to go slow. I'm going to quite literally go as slow as I can so that you can really bring into the motion the repetition. I want you to understand what your what each pose is, and there's 18 of them, okay, in Sun Salutation C. So whenever you get tired, you can come back to child's pose, is what I'm saying. Child's pose is for everyone at any time in the yoga practice, and it is okay. It is okay that if you're standing, that you come to the floor and go into child's pose. All right. So again, you have uh, your child's pose this way, or you can have it with wide legged. Okay. Either way, you're in child's pose, and it's just a way to relax, get your catch your breath, and then come back to the flow. Today, again, is Sun Salutation C. So, what we're going to do is what we call rounds. So, you can't see my head, can you? think I need to up this a little bit because we are going to be standing. Okay, let's see if that helps. Oh, that's better. But there's 4 rounds. 4 rounds actually, though, means 8 cycles. Okay, so we have 2 legs, so we have to go from one side to the other. Okay, so uh, just know that whenever you get tired, that's why I told you go into child's pose. All right, that's the easiest way to get past the, and it takes strength, right, to go through a flow. So again, 4 rounds may sound okay, it's only 4 times. Well, but you have 2 sides, which technically means we're actually going to go through 8 different times, right? So, Sun Salutation C. I want you to remember always to have that hip width. Your hips are here, the bones that we're talking about. Okay, yes, your hips are here. But when people, especially yoga instructors, are saying, oh, go hip width, they don't mean here. Okay, they mean hip width, as in your bone. So, take your 2 fists, put them together. And you are standing by now if you're not following me. And then you're going to bend down and put your 2 fists between your feet. This right here is a good proportional theory as to where your hip width is. Okay, again, everyone's different, but proportionally, this should actually be hip width for you. Whenever our feet, okay, are, even if they're diagonal from each other, away from each other, scissored, especially if we're standing though, we want them to be hip width. Same with we're in tabletop, all that good stuff. We want to be in hip width. It's just more forgiving for female bodies. So the first pose, oh, and then finally, there are many dual actions, which the first yoga clinic is on the dual actions, but definitely the 2 different dual actions I'm going to be talking about all the time are the ones where your feet are energetically coming together as well as your inner thighs energetically coming together. And again, the second dual action is your navel sucking into your spine, and then your front ribs are knitted. I want you to really think about keeping them down and okay, not out, and you'll understand why. So, with all that said, we are in Sun Salutation C stance to begin. We are in the first pose, which is Tadasana or mountain pose. So, with that said, I want us to really feel what it's like to be in Tadasana. It's not a passive pose. So, your feet are on the same plane, right? They're not one higher than the other, hip width. I want you to, which is another of the dual actions, is sink all 4 corners of your feet into the ground. Really feel all 4 corners of all those of your feet, your 2 feet, into the ground. At the same time, now I want you to lift the toes and spread them. Spread them really well, and then keep them spread as you then push them down. That should have actually ever so slightly made you taller. All right, I really want you to have a tall spine. Whenever we're in Tadasana, we're in a nice tall spine, shoulders back, our ribs knitted, belly button in. All right, so Tadasana. From Tadasana, oh, what I do want to say is we're going 4 rounds because I'm showing you from like the most basic version of these poses until the more traditional. Okay, so that's why there's 4. I really want you to understand how you can progress. So Tadasana. The second pose is extended Tadasana, extended mountain pose. To make it a little bit more forgiving, we're going to put our arms all to the side and into a Y. All the while, navel in, ribs knitted. Okay, this is extended mountain pose. And I know you can't see my arms, but extended mountain pose. And then go ahead, bring your hands together, look up, bring your hands into prayer, and then come down into the next pose, which is Uttanasana. So you keep a nice, generous bend in your knees. Come down so that your chest is on your knees, and have your hands by the feet. Uttanasana. Then we go into half back. Put your hands, keeping that bend in your knee, onto your shins. Keep the hands on the shins. And the idea is to have a flat back. Okay, so look down, but have that nice flat back. Okay, now, if you've been following, this is where it's going to get different. So now we're going to go into a low lunge, but I want your left foot to be in the front and your right foot to go back. So you put your hands down. If you need something like me, put something down in the back. Bring your right foot, or I'm sorry, the right knee down. Before you do anything else, I want you to look underneath you. And don't be on a tight rope. This is where hip width is still relevant. I want you to be here, okay, hip width instead of here. I don't want you to be on a tight rope. So that left foot, okay, is what's front. We want a lovely 90 degrees from the knee to the ankle. We also, well, I mean, your knee should be over your ankle, but your knee should be at 90 degrees. Always remember your knee should always be tracking with the second toe. All right, that will keep your knee from coming in. We want it to be nice and straight. The back knee, okay, uh, again, hip width, and you can untuck the toes or you can tuck them, doesn't matter. With the inhale, I want you to exhale up and then come into low lunge. All right, so again, low lunge. We want this to be hip width, nice 90 degrees. For now, your hands could be here or in prayer. But really feel that the 2 feet are energetically trying to come together. When you do that, okay, they're not going anywhere, but they're going to be isometrically coming towards each other. You should have felt what we call mula bandha. That was incredible. Again, you should feel your bum actually want to come up. That's mula bandha. That's your pelvic floor literally coming up. Energetically, bring your inner thighs together too. Again, they're not together, but I want you to think about trying to bring them together. That also gives you mula bandha. Okay, you really want to feel lifted. All right, I don't want you sagging into the lunge. You are actually actively. This should be work. Like you should be sweating already. So this is low lunge. Okay, now we're going to go into tabletop. All right, and then we're going to go into the other lunge on the other side. So go into tabletop. This is tabletop, if you're not familiar. Your shoulders should be over your wrist, and your hips should be definitely over your knees. Now, I should have said earlier, tabletop. Now we're going to go into what's known as knees, chest, chin. And then after we go through that, plus the vinyasa of upward facing, downward. Either way, let me just go here. So we're in tabletop. We're going to now go into knees, chest, chin. So whether you're on your knees or in plank, you're always going to shift forward, okay? So from tabletop, you're going to shift your shoulders over your wrist, okay? Then you're going to come to, you're already on your knees, but now you're going to come into chest. So send your chest down, you're going to slide back on your legs, and then chin. Okay, so that was fun. Now go ahead and we're going to get into baby cobra. So your hands should be underneath your shoulders. Go ahead, make sure your navel is nice and tucked into your spine, ribs are knitted, and then you're going to lift. All right, look down. Your hand should be able to come up. All right, so this is baby cobra. This is a modification. All right, so now go ahead, tuck your toes with an inhale, then an exhale, push up and back. Push that one back, okay? Push it back, and your heels are up. Now we're going to go into a modified downward dog, sorry. So you basically should have your knees really bent. Modified downward dog is all about not caring about if your heels touch, but it's more important always that your back is nice and straight. Shoulders should be away from your ears. Go ahead and take a few breaths here. Inhale, then exhale. Inhale again, and exhale. Now we're going to actually go into the left lunge, is what I meant to say earlier. So now, I should look up there. What you're going to do is you're going to take the right foot forward. Okay, if it doesn't get all the way between your hands, you put it there. and then you set the left knee down, okay? And again, what we're going for is we want the right foot forward. The knee is at a 90-degree angle, right? It's right over your ankle, and the knee should be tracking with that second toe. Meanwhile, look back, make sure you're not on a tightrope. The back foot can be tucked or flat. Now with the inhale, exhale up, and now you're in low lunge, okay? So again, you're energetically, your dual actions you're thinking about, navel into your spine, ribs knitted. I want you to think about the feet energetically coming towards each other. So you create mula bandha, as well as your inner thighs energetically coming together. Like no one should be able to tip you over. This is how strong you should be. So this is the right side. Okay, so this is low lunge. Now we're going to go into another tabletop, knees, chest, chin, downward facing dog, and then go from there. So we will put our hands down, bring your foot back so that you're in tabletop again. And once again, you always want to remember that the dual actions are always working. In this case, right now, the navel and then the ribs knitted, that's most important. So untuck your toes, go ahead, shift forward. Now you're on your knees already. So now we need to go to chest and then the chin. And now you should be back on your belly. Okay, we're going to go into baby cobra. So again, you shouldn't need your hands to push you up. You should be able to get into baby cobra by looking down and just lifting your chin, your chest a little. Okay, put your hands down, tuck your toes, inhale, exhale back your bum on those heels, then come into modified downward dog. Okay, then go ahead, one foot forward, then the other. Then we're into half back, okay? So knee, hands to shins, flat back. Then you're going to go into a uttanasana, generous bend in the knee, okay? And then we're going to come back up into extended mountain pose, okay? And then bring your hands together up in prayer, bring them down, and hands to your side. And that was round 1 of Sun Salutation C. I am purposely going slow. Go ahead and get something to hydrate with. I am purposely going slow so that you can really, really think about the modifications as we go forward and decide, do I want to use the modification? Remember, we're building up into what becomes then the traditional version, all right? So there is no shame ever of going into a modification. Experienced yogis, or yoginis, as it is for female practitioners of yoga, yoginis will sometimes use modifications. Why? Because whatever their body is calling for, they're going to honor that. So now we're going to go into round 2 of what we just did. This time, though, instead of baby cobra, we're going to go into what is really cobra. Okay, there's different versions of cobra, so I keep building. Then also we're going to stay on our knees, but with the lunge, we're going to change our hands and we're going to move them upwards. Okay, so again, full expressions of the pose is what we're working towards. All right, so hip width. All right, this is round 2 of Sun Salutation C. So we're back into Tadasana. Okay, we're going to turn our hands out. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your arms into a Y again. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and bring our eyes up as we bring our hands together in prayer. Bring them down into Uttanasana. Again, you can have a generous bend in those knees, hands by your side, by your feet. Then we go to half back. This time, again, you can still have your shins or hands on the shins. Now we're going to go into the lunge. So your left foot is going to stay forward. You're going to send the right knee down, in the back. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. All right. Make sure that that knee is tracking with the left second toe. And then you're going to inhale, exhale up. Okay. This is lunge. Now you can have your hands here, but we can also be up. Okay. So this is going to be one version of our arms. Okay. So again, wider is easier on our shoulders. So this is one version of it. All right. So now we're going to go into tabletop and then knees, chest, chin. So come back into your tabletop. And again, we're in tabletop already, so we're already on our knees. So all we need to do now is to shift. We're on the knees. Bring your elbows close to you as you come down to chest and then chin. Now we're going to go into cobra. So the difference is how high you go as well as your hand placement. So now your hands should be closer to the bottom ribs, but your elbows always stay close to your body. Then with the inhale, exhale up, and you are pushing lightly with your hands to get into cobra. Okay, so you do bring yourself up. Your elbows are somewhat bent. Okay, but this is work. You should be looking down, and your navel is nice and snug to your spine as well as your ribs knitted. Now you're going to go ahead, tuck your toes, inhale, exhale back into your back bum is going back, and then into modified downward facing dog. And again, your knees can be generously bent. We don't care if our heels are not touching the ground. More important, actually, is that your back is straight. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the right side, okay, of the lunge. So, making sure that I did that right. Yeah. So now we're going to bring our right foot forward. So you can bring the knee up and then the foot comes down. If it doesn't make it like mine didn't, you make it go there. So the left knee comes down, and then remember, you want to keep that hip width. Right knee, nice right angle. The knee is right over the ankle, and the knee is tracking with that second toe in the front. Inhale, exhale up. Okay, now we're in the right side lunge. And again, energetically thinking that your inner thighs are coming together, as well as the feet energetically coming together so that you feel mula bandha. And again, your hands can be on the knee in prayer or in that lovely Y. Okay, this is low lunge. Now we're going to go back into tabletop, knees, chest, chin, and then to downward facing dog. So bring your hands down, tabletop. Go ahead, shift forward. You're already on your knees, untuck those toes. Then you have chest to chin. And then we're going into cobra. Inhale. Here's cobra. Go ahead, push up and back. And then come into downward facing dog. Awesome. Let's take a few breaths. And if anytime you have to go into child's pose, do it. But we're going to bring one foot forward, then the other. Now we go into Uttanasana, half back. Okay, so you're flat back. Then Uttanasana. Okay. And now we come all the way up. Hands come up, follow us into extended mountain pose. Remember that navel in, ribs knitted. Bring your hands together into prayer. Bring them down. Hands to your side, and that is round 2 of Sun Salutation C. Okay, we start in Tadasana, we end in Tadasana. Now we're going to go into round 3. Round 3, we're actually going to now use traditional versions, okay? So the arm placement and extended is going to look a little different. When we go into the low lunge, we're going to have our hands again up. We're going to now go into plank instead of tabletop. That then takes you into knees, chest, chin, and then so forth and so on. So again, we're learning how to use modifications to build strength so that when we get to the traditional version, we have proper form. Okay. I want you to have longevity in yoga. I don't want you to hurt yourself. All right. So now, once again, you can stick with the modifications or you can follow me and follow the traditional version. Now we're going to go 4 rounds. So this third time around, our third round, we're just going to learn the traditional version. And then that 4th round is going to go a little faster. And that's us learning, right? As we've done this now 3 times. So our third flow right now is for Sun Salutation C. Hands to your side into Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale as you bring your arms straight overhead. Okay. Remember that navel in, ribs knitted. Now you're going to fold into Uttanasana. You don't have to keep that really big bend in your knee if you don't want to, but a slight bend is necessary. Always have a slight bend. Don't ever hyperextend. So Uttanasana. Now when you go into half back, you can, like me, have your fingertips touching the mat. Only, though, if you can have a flat back. Okay, so fingertips are right underneath your shoulders, but if you choose to have them, your hands on your shins, you do that. Now we're going to go into plank. From plank, we'll go into knees, chest, chin. So you decide what you're going to do. Okay. No, sorry, not plank. We're going to go into low. We're going into low lunge. Sorry about that. First, we're going to low lunge, and then we're going to plank. So for that, you're going to put your hands by your feet, and you're going to leave your left foot in the front as you take your right knee down. And again, make sure you're not on a tightrope. Make sure those legs are hip width apart. Make sure the knee is tracking with that second left toe. And then with the inhale, exhale up into that lunge. Again, feel Mula Bandha. Once you're stationed, now the full expression of the pose is to bring your arms again overhead. All right, so navel in, ribs knitted, and you can be wide, okay, with your arms, but this is the full expression of the pose. Now we go into plank and to knees, chest, chin. So bring your hands down, come into plank, okay, plank, shift forward, knees down, untuck the toes, then you chest and then the chin touch the floor. Now we're going to cobra, okay, and cobra, remember, is where you bring up your chest with your arms a little. But in this case, I'm going to go a little bit further. Okay, it's still cobra, but instead of bending bending my elbows, inhale, exhale, I'm going to go a little bit more up. All the while, my wrists are still underneath my shoulders, and shoulders are back. They're not next to your ears. Now, untuck the toes, and now we're going to go into downward facing dog, or you can go the other way. But we go straight back with the bum and then come into downward facing dog. Again, the purpose of downward facing dog is not to have your heels on the ground. It's important that your back is straight. Okay? Make sure that your ears are not squinched up to those shoulders. Alrighty. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the right lunge. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm telling you right. Yes. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is you're going to lift the right foot, bring that knee to your chest, and then put the right foot up between your feet, or your hands are there. If it doesn't get there, you put it there like I did. Then the left knee comes down. Remember, keep that wonderful hip width, okay? And right knee tracks with the second right toe. Go ahead and inhale, and then come up into your lunge. Okay, now, again, think about Mula Bandha. Think about inner thighs energetically coming together, as well as your feet energetically coming together. This is awesome. Now you can decide what to do with your hands. I'm going to go, okay? This is, again, the full expression of the pose. All right? Tuck in that navel, ribs knitted. Now we go back into plank and then knees, chest, chin. So plank with me if you wish. So plank, shift forward, knees down, feet flat, chest, and then chin. Now we go into cobra. Okay, so hands are closer to your bottom ribs. Inhale, and then exhale up into cobra. And then now go ahead, tuck the toes, however you wish, get into downward facing dog. Oh yeah, that felt good. Now let's take a few breaths in downward facing dog. And one more time. Now go ahead, bring one foot forward, then the other. And then we're going to Uttanasana. I'm sorry, half back. So that your fingers, okay, can be on the tip, your fingertips can be on the mat underneath your shoulders, or they can be on the shins. And then Uttanasana, okay. And then bring up all the way, arms overhead to get into extended mountain pose. And then bring them down to prayer, your hands to your sides. And that is round 3 of Sun Salutation C. Now we're in the final round. This time we're going to go a little faster. Now that you've seen what the traditional version looks like, and you can decide how you're going to flow. Again, I am intentionally going very slow. I'm intentionally giving you specific cues because I want you to think about those cues as you go to any yoga class. The idea is not to confuse you or convolute with so many cues, but the idea is to have you hone in on one specific tip or cue, dual action that I give you so that you remember that and it keeps you safe. Okay? So on our last round 4, again, you can follow me or you can use any of the modifications that we learned earlier. All right, here we go. Sun Salutation C, final round. Hands are by your side in Tadasana. Decide where your arms are going to go. If you're going to follow me, inhale, exhale, arms go overhead. I want you to think about looking up, okay? Then bring your hands to touch in prayer. Bring the hands down. Inhale and exhale as you go into Uttanasana. Hands are by the feet. Okay. And then inhale into your flat back. Awesome, awesome. Now we're going into our low lunge, okay? And I always start with my left foot in the front so I don't forget. I think tradition is that you go with the right, but I'm being a rebel. Bring that right knee down. Make sure you're not in tightrope. Make sure that left knee is tracking with the left toe. Inhale, and then exhale up. Arms will go overhead. And if you're so inclined, go ahead and look up towards your hands and give it a little back bend. That's actually the whole point of a low lunge, just the back bend. All right, bring your hands together, look up, go ahead and come down into plank. Okay, plank, then shift forward, knees go down, feet come out. Did I shift forward first? Shift forward. Let me make sure. Shift forward. Yeah. Knees down. And then chest to chin. Now we're going into cobra. You choose which one. Exhale up. Okay. Untuck the toe or tuck the toes. Come into your downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here. And then now we're going to move into the right side. Okay, we did the left lunge. Now we're going into the right side. And here we go. So bring that right foot forward. Okay. If it doesn't get there like mine never does, you put it there between your hands. Then bring that left knee down. Make sure that that right knee is over the ankle, as well as tracking with that front right toe. Inhale, exhale up, bring the arms over your head. This is again the right side lunge. Full expression of the poses. You are looking up towards your hands, ribs knitted, and your navel in. Bring your hands together, look up, bring them down. Now we're going to plank and then to knees, chest, chin. So plank, shift forward, knees down, feet down, then chest and chin. Now into cobra, however you wish. Oh yeah. Here's cobra. Then tuck your toes. Inhale. Push up into downward facing dog. Here, let's take a few breaths. Now, look forward, which I always forget to say, and take one foot forward, then the other. Now you go into half back, okay, however you wish. Then Uttanasana, okay. And now we're going to extended mountain pose. So bring those arms overhead, look up, touch your hands together in prayer, bring the hands down to your side, and end in Tadasana. And that, my friends, was the 4 rounds of Sun Salutation A, or C, sorry. So I appreciate you so much. Next month, you let me know what you want to do. Pretty much, we've gone through what we would call foundational poses now. So Sun Salutation A was 2 months ago. Sun Salutation B was last month. And today, obviously, we have just gone through Sun Salutation C. From here on out, most poses that you would be part in, or I should say, you have gained a really good foundation so that when you go into a yoga studio, you're not unfamiliar, okay, with at least the foundations. Now, there's a ton of other poses, but all of these foundational poses make up what you would then learn as new poses, okay? So let me know in the comments or in a message how you would like the next clinic, what the next clinic should be. I have some ideas, but would love to hear from you all. Okay, so with that, take care, take charge, God bless, and we'll see you next time.